What if you could analyze volatility before the market reacts? Forget lagging tools. This is a real-time revolution. Welcome to a new edge in options trading, powered by ChatGPT. In this video, we'll show you how simple prompts can expose mispriced options, right now in real time. In today's fast-moving markets, staying ahead of volatility is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. But here's the problem. Traditional methods of options volatility analysis were built for a slower market. They rely on lagging indicators, delayed reports, or manual chart reviews. And by the time you've crunched the numbers, the market's already moved on. This is where the volatility edge comes in. And it's not coming from the usual suspects. It's coming from AI. Specifically, ChatGPT. Now, before you raise an eyebrow, no, we're not just asking ChatGPT for stock tips. What we're doing is far more tactical. We're designing precision prompts that help us interpret real-time options volatility data instantly. You're about to see how a well-crafted ChatGPT prompt can reveal implied volatility shifts, volatility smiles and skews, and even potential market sentiment, all faster than most retail tools can react. Let me share a quick story. A few weeks ago, a trader spotted a sudden drop in implied volatility for a popular tech stock right before earnings. While others were still waiting for analyst updates, he plugged in a customized ChatGPT prompt. Within seconds, he identified the likely cause. Heavy options flow suggesting the market was pricing in a calm reaction. He took a position, and minutes later, volatility crushed. That's the edge. That's the volatility edge powered by AI. In this video, we're breaking it all down, piece by piece. First, we'll walk you through what makes a great volatility prompt. Then, we'll craft one together and test it on live market data. You'll also see real case studies where ChatGPT not only supported, but led the analysis, helping traders make faster, more informed decisions. And by the end of this video, you won't just understand options volatility better. You'll have a clear roadmap to use AI as your edge in this space. So let's dive in. So now that you understand the potential of using ChatGPT for real-time volatility analysis, let's get into the engine behind it all. The prompt. Think of a prompt like a conversation starter with AI. If you ask vague questions, you'll get vague answers. But if you ask with precision, using the right structure, the response can be powerful and targeted. So here's the blueprint. Part 1. Clarity. First, your prompt must be clear. Tell ChatGPT exactly what you want. Don't just say, analyze volatility. Say something like, based on today's options chain data for Apple, what are the current implied volatility trends across near-the-money strikes? And what might this suggest about short-term market sentiment? Notice how that's specific. You're asking about today, about a specific stock, a specific section of the options chain, and what it means. Part 2. Context. Next is context. ChatGPT isn't reading the market. You are. So you need to feed it data points. This could be 4 at different strikes, changes in open interest, time to expiration, earnings dates. Example, implied volatility for AAPL's weekly 180 call is 42%, up from 35% yesterday. with open interest rising by 25%. What could be driving this move? By giving it context, you allow ChatGPT to respond intelligently, almost like a real-time analyst helping you interpret the situation. Part 3. Constraints. Finally, apply constraints. Constraints help you control the depth and direction of the answer. You might say, give the response in 3 bullet points, or use only the information provided, no external data, or even explain as if I'm a beginner. Why does this matter? Because when you're trading, especially fast-moving options, clarity and speed are critical. You don't want a long essay. You want insight you can act on. Let's build one together. Live prompt demo. Let's build a prompt together from scratch, using the blueprint. Let's say SPY's implied volatility jumped from 12% to 19% today. Here's how the full prompt might look. SPY's implied volatility increased from 12% to 19% over the last 24 hours. No earnings or major news is expected. Open interest has spiked in weekly out-of-the-money puts. Based on this, what might be causing the volatility increase? And what could it mean for short-term movement? Keep it to 3 bullet points and explain in plain English. Simple, structured, and packed with useful insight. You could feed this to ChatGPT and get a quick breakdown of possible institutional positioning, sentiment shifts, or even hedging activity, all within seconds. Going beyond the basics. Once you get comfortable with the basics, you can start using prompts to tackle more complex patterns like volatility smiles. Are OTM puts and calls pricing risk differently? Volatility skews. Is one side of the options chain more expensive in 4 than the other? Earnings drift. How has 4 behaved historically before earnings in this ticker? Example prompt. Analyze the current 4 skew in Tesla options expiring this Friday. OTM calls are pricing at 68% for. OTM puts at 82%. What does this suggest about market bias and sentiment? With that kind of prompt, ChatGPT becomes more than a helper. It becomes a tool for interpreting market psychology in real time. And here's the best part. You don't need to be a coder or an expert to do any of this. All you need is a smart prompt, a clear idea of what you're asking, and a basic understanding of what the data means. In the next section, we'll test this blueprint in real time using actual market data. You'll see how ChatGPT performs live and how traders can respond with confidence. Now that you understand how to build high-quality prompts, it's time to see them in action. Welcome to the real-time application of ChatGPT in options volatility analysis, where theory meets the market. Let's begin with a common situation. You're watching a stock, let's say AMD, and you notice a sudden spike in options volume. Implied volatility is ticking upward, but there's no news, no earnings, nothing on the calendar. A seasoned trader might start digging through forums or wait for a headline. But with ChatGPT, you don't have to wait. You can immediately input the current data and ask, implied volatility for AMD's 105 calls expiring this Friday jumped from 38% to 51% today, with a 70% rise in open interest. What could this indicate in terms of market expectation? ChatGPT processes that instantly, and what you get is a snapshot of why volatility might be rising. Is it speculation, hedging, Institutional positioning. These types of insights can give you a real-time edge before the rest of the market catches up. Let's walk through a real case study using ChatGPT. In this scenario, a trader noticed that the implied volatility on a mid-cap biotech stock dropped sharply, even though earnings were just 2 days away. Normally, volatility climbs heading into earnings, right? So they used this prompt. Earnings are scheduled for this Thursday. For on all near-term options fell from 92% to 65% in 24 hours. What are potential reasons for a pre-earnings for crush, and how should this be interpreted? ChatGPT responded with possibility of a leak or insider expectation of muted earnings. Market pricing in reduced surprise due to guidance. Recent news or updates already baked in. Armed with that insight, the trader avoided buying expensive premium and even positioned for a volatility crush. The result? A smart play, informed by AI in seconds. Now let's flip it. Another case study showed how ChatGPT helped spot undervalued options. A trader noticed unusually low implied volatility on a large-cap stock just before a Fed announcement. He ran this prompt. SPY options expiring Friday are showing 14% for, even though a Fed decision is expected tomorrow. How does this compare with typical pre-Fed behavior? And is the market underpricing volatility? ChatGPT provided historical context, explained how volatility often expands after such events, and highlighted why 14% might be unusually low. That trader bought cheap calls, and once volatility expanded post-announcement, those options gained significantly in value. These examples show a critical shift in how traders operate. Instead of relying solely on lagging tools, you're using live data plus AI interpretation to make faster, smarter moves. You're not just reacting, you're anticipating. And that's what makes AI-powered trading proactive rather than reactive. In the next section, we'll unlock even deeper insights, combining ChatGPT with scenario testing and traditional indicators to create a complete volatility framework. Up to this point, we've seen how ChatGPT can interpret real-time volatility data and spot opportunities. But the real magic happens when we combine AI analysis with scenario testing and traditional market indicators. This is where a trader moves from having good insights to building a full volatility strategy. Let's break it down. Imagine you've identified a spike in implied volatility for a certain stock. On its own, that's useful, but still incomplete. What if you could instantly test 3 different scenarios to see how that volatility might behave under different market conditions? With ChatGPT, you can feed it current data, then layer on what-if situations. For example, what if the underlying stock price moves 3% higher in the next 2 days? What if implied volatility reverts to its 30-day average? What if an unexpected earnings pre-announcement drops tomorrow? ChatGPT can walk you through the potential outcomes, giving you a mental map of how each path might affect the option's value. Now, combine that with traditional indicators like RSI, moving averages, or Bollinger Bands. Suddenly, you're not just seeing the why behind volatility changes. You're also aligning them with technical setups that support or contradict the move. This approach turns a simple data snapshot, into a dynamic decision-making tool. You're able to weigh probabilities, spot risk-reward imbalances, and choose the position that fits your strategy, not just the market's noise. By the end of this process, you've built something most traders don't have: an AI-driven volatility read, scenario-tested outcomes, confirmation from technical analysis. This is how you go from trading based on surface-level information to executing with conviction, speed, and clarity. In the final section, we'll bring all of these elements together into a repeatable framework you can use every day, whether you're scalping short-term moves or positioning for long-term plays. By now, you've seen how ChatGPT can do more than just read the market. It can think through it with you. This section takes that capability and turns it into a structured trading edge. We'll explore how to combine real-time volatility insights, scenario testing, and traditional technical analysis into a single, repeatable process. You'll see how AI can filter out market noise, highlight the setups that truly matter, and even adapt your strategies to changing conditions. From spotting hidden opportunities before they go mainstream, to avoiding costly traps that catch unprepared traders, this is where the advantages stack up. You're not just reacting faster than the crowd. You're thinking further ahead. By the end of this section, you'll understand how to integrate ChatGPT into your workflow so it becomes a trusted partner in decision-making, giving you more clarity, more speed, and more confidence in every trade.